Okay, so on to the last examples now. Given x plus 3 is a factor of f of x equals 5x cubed plus 18x squared plus 7x minus 6, I want you to find all of the zeros. So, and I want you to do this without your calculator. I know you can do it on your calculator. So go ahead, pause the video, and then when you think you have an answer, if you get stuck, then come back and check your answer. Okay, so I chose to do synthetic division here, and I ended up with x equals 2/5, x equals -1, and x equals -3 as the zeros. So now going through that work real quick, a couple things to point out though. So if we're told from the beginning x plus 3 is a factor, unless I lie to you, that means that if I do synthetic division with -3, I should get 0 as a remainder. Remember that you don't have to do synthetic division. You can always do long division. In fact, if you take higher level math classes in college, you'll find that a lot of professors never use synthetic division. They just always prefer long division. It's more mathematically sound. Synthetic division is kind of more like a trick, but it works. So if I do synthetic division, I end up with 5x squared plus 3x minus 2 as my quotient with a remainder of 0. So now I can set the quotient equal to 0 and solve for x to find the remaining two zeros. That's the nice thing about synthetic division, is I can take a polynomial that I originally could not factor or solve, and I can break it down into something smaller if I already know one of those zeros or factors. So when I do that, this factors nicely into 5x minus 2 and x plus 1, so I get x equals 2/5, x equals -1, and don't forget x equals -3 is also a 0. We should have 3 zeros in this case, so I need to not forget the one that was given to me in the beginning. This leads us to another theorem that I mentioned in part 1, and that is called the Factor Theorem. And so the Factor Theorem says a polynomial f of x has a factor x minus k if and only if f of k equals 0. And so in this situation we can apply that by saying if I find what is f of -3, it should equal 0 in this case, and in fact it does. And I know that because x plus 3 is a factor. So that's what the Factor Theorem is telling us. So now just to conclude, long and synthetic division can be used to find zeros of polynomials. Long division, we divide by a term with the highest degree, multiply, subtract, and then repeat. Synthetic division, we only use if the divisor is of the form x minus k. We add the terms vertically and multiply diagonally. Again, I'll show you a trick in class on how we can do that with divisors that are not of the form x minus k. Remember, you can always use long division though, no matter what. And then the standard form of a complex number is a plus bi. We did not do any examples of that, but we'll see that in the warm-up in class. So we want to make sure we understand that.